Joining us now to break down the Republican priorities in the final days of the race is Liz Harrington, the national spokesperson for the Republican National Committee. So, Liz, when we look at where we are today, polls seem to be tightening. Republicans are breaking into the voter gap when it comes to early voting. Is this the game plan for the Republican Party?
Oh, we know our enthusiasm is so above what it even was in 2016, because this really is a movement about defending America as founded, America as a nation of peace and prosperity and freedom. And we've seen so many people coming out, disaffected Democrats, independents, people that didn't even vote last time, who have seen what President Trump delivered, saw that he was true to his word, seen a Democrat Party that has gone so unhinged, so far to the left, attacking this man at every single turn against the will of the people in 2016. Meanwhile, President Trump has delivered on so many core promises. And so coming out of this pandemic, when we see GDP growth, the fastest in history at over 33%, Americans are going to vote to continue that with President Trump. They're not going to vote to lock it down, to shut down like New York and California, what the left wants to do with Joe Biden in charge. That's not going to happen. We're going to vote for peace, prosperity, and choice and freedom.
And I think anybody who tells you based on polls that they know who's going to win the race is lying to you for the most part. I mean, what we're seeing right now is unbelievable turnout to the point where what we saw in 2016, you almost can't even draw a parallel. I mean, we're seeing people coming out in numbers that you can't gauge people because there are so many new voters, people crossing party lines. I mean, we saw in Florida, for example, today that people are coming out in extreme heat, some even suffering from heat exhaustion, but not leaving the Trump event. I mean, that speaks to the enthusiasm, especially in the state of Florida, which do you think that'll be one of the pivotal states when we cast votes on November 3rd?
Oh, I think it's a very important state, but we're doing very well there. I mean, if you look, the first family, if you look at what Ivanka has drawn and Don Jr., these are massive crowds just to see members of the president's family. I mean, people are coming out and supporting because they love this country, and that's what's at stake in this election. And so we're not only just counting on that enthusiasm, but we've seen it all throughout this campaign, and that's going to really bring dividends come Election Day. And you're right, all these people saying the same thing that they said in 2016, they haven't corrected their metrics. They haven't found the hidden Trump vote, right? They've just doubled down on their failed methodology, and they're missing the bigger picture of what's going on here. They are going to be blown away on Election Day because not only are we outperforming the early vote and the mail-in vote that Democrats are so counting on, we're going to have such amazing turnout come November 3rd. They're talking about weeks and 20 days, and we won't know the result till Christmas. I think we're going to know a lot sooner than that.
And I'll say this, that sometimes you need to cut through the noise of the media and look at the actions of the candidates. Joe Biden would not be campaigning in Florida if he was truly up 10 points, as some polls say. I mean, it would be a total political malpractice to some degree if that was really the case. But we also see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris going to states such as Georgia, Texas, and Arizona. Is this a testament to the idea that they're looking at other avenues in order to win the race, or they're looking for a landslide?
Well, it is telling that they're keeping coming back to Florida when they said it was going to be such a blowout, right? I mean, according to these public polls, you know, it's 10, 12 points. It's exactly what they said for Hillary Clinton. They were so wrong. They were suppression polls. And what's really interesting is if you look for the support of President Trump among Hispanic Americans, among Black Americans, among women. I mean, everything the media says about this president, they're so wrong. And again, they're going to miss this big picture. President Trump has a winning message for everyone. It's pro-growth, it's pro-freedom, and it's just pro-America. You have a Democrat Party who now says we're systemically rotten, we're irredeemable and deplorable on steroids. They say we have to tear the system down as founded and fundamentally transform it. That's not what we want in America. We want our freedom. We want our choice. We want to be able to decide if our kids go to school and where they go. We want choice in health care. And we want to just go out and live the American dream. President Trump built the greatest economy we'd ever seen in 2019. And now when we see that V-shaped recovery, we know not only are we going to do it again in 2021, it's going to be better than it was before.
And Liz, you mentioned earlier that we should have a pretty good idea on November 3rd about who the true winner is of the race. And I think it's important to look, too. We were talking about that voter gap. Over the past couple of days, Republicans have been breaking into that voter gap when it comes to mail-in voting as well as voting in person. So I think that maybe a lot of these late, last-minute mail-in ballots and the things that'll get counted at the end, I mean, I think Republicans might actually overperform there. But regardless, do you think that we will see court battles coming after November 3rd, whether it's by the president and his team or by the Democratic challengers?
Well, the Democrats are already busy at work. That's why we launched Protect the Vote. We had to defend these laws on the books. Luckily, we won many of these cases where ballots are not going to be delivered and counted weeks after Election Day. That's what they tried to do, ballot harvesting as well. So we won those victories. But it's an important point. Yes, I do think we're going to have a result on election night, which we should demand. We're a first world country. We don't deliver ballots weeks after Election Day and then find out. This is absurd. No ballots should be counted if they're delivered after Election Day. It's just an easy way to manipulate the vote. That's what they do in third world countries. They stuff the ballot box. And that's what ballot harvesting is. So we should demand results. We should demand efficiency, and we should demand a free and fair election. That's what we're going to get because we won a lot of these battles in court. But you know they're going to try whatever they can. They've got the same corrupt people, Mark Elias, Hillary Clinton's lawyer, and the rest who are using their power in the legal world to try to challenge these elections, draw out the process. But there's only so much they can manipulate with mail-in voting. That the turnout is so overwhelming, there's nothing they can do about it. And that's what I believe will happen on November 3rd.
And of course, none of this even really matters if voter turnout is that extreme on November 3rd, and we do have a clear answer. So I guess no matter where you stand on the political spectrum, get out there, vote, make sure your voice is heard, but do it in a very responsible way as well. Liz Harrington, it's always a pleasure having you on this program. Thank you very much.